Are you looking for a studio to get your next tattoo or piercing? The Tattoo Studio in Muncie, Indiana is the official tattoo studio of DJG Motorsports. Operating for 23 years, the Tattoo Studio has an experienced lineup of artists, including Josh, Ross, and Shannon, who are ready to work with you, whether you are getting your first tattoo or you are ready to get back in the chair. I can promise you that you will leave the studio happy. I have gotten all my tattoos from the Tattoo Studio and have been recommending them for years. To make an appointment, you can call 765-284-8429. The Tattoo Studio is open from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Sundays.
Drivers, start your engines!
Yellow's out. Man, we just about outran him. And she busted her.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 30 of 3 Wide with DJG. The green flag is out, and we are ready to roll 3 wide. To kick off today's show, I wanted to provide a little bit of post-race from Las Vegas. So the Xfinity Series top 5 was Josh Berry, Noah Gragson, Justin Allgaier, Ty Gibbs, and Trevor Bayne. Your Cup Series top 5 was Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, Kyle Busch, Chase Briscoe, and Denny Hamlin. Following Las Vegas, here's how the playoff standings look for each series. So starting out the truck playoffs, Ty Majeski's locked into the final 4. Chandler Smith is above the cutoff line by 30 points, followed by Zane Smith plus 18 and Ben Rhodes plus 3. Below the cutoff line is Christian Eckes by 3 points. Stuart Friesen is also below the cutoff line by 3 points. John Hunter Nemechek is below the cutoff line by 5 points. And Grant Enfinger is below the cutoff line by 29 points. Josh Berry leads the Xfinity playoff standings with a win to lock him into the final 4. Noah Gragson finds himself above the cutoff line by 44 points, followed by Ty Gibbs plus 25 and Justin Allgaier above the cutoff line by 15 points. Austin Hill's below the cutoff line by 15 points, followed by AJ Allmendinger below by 16 points, Brandon Jones below the cutoff line by 27 points, and Sam Mayer below the cutoff line by 36 points. Finally, your Cup playoff standings look like this. Joey Logano locked into the final 4 with his race win at Las Vegas. Ross Chastain is above the cutoff line by 18 points, followed by Chase Elliott above by 17 points, and Denny Hamlin plus 6. William Byron finds himself below the cutoff line by 6 points, followed by Chase Briscoe minus 9, Ryan Blaney minus 11, and Christopher Bell minus 23. We also had some silly season updates after Las Vegas. So Kurt Busch had actually announced at the track that he would retire from full-time racing in 2023. If you've been following along with that, Tyler Reddick will be joining 23XI a year earlier and will be jumping into one of their cars next season. Corey LaJoie will return to Spire Racing. Ty Dillon will join him at Spire, and Josh Berry will return to Junior Motorsports. Following Las Vegas on Tuesday, specifically, NASCAR announced that they would be suspending Bubba Wallace for 1 race following his retaliation against Kyle Larson following an on-track incident. Following his actions on Sunday, Bubba released the following statement. I want to apologize for my actions on Sunday following the on-track incident with Kyle Larson in the number 5 car. My behavior does not align with 23XI Racing and our partners who have played a crucial role in my incredible journey to the top of this great sport. I want to apologize to NASCAR and the fans, along with Christopher Bell, Joe Gibbs Racing, and Toyota for putting them in a situation in the playoffs that they do not deserve. I compete with immense passion, and with passion at times comes frustration. Upon reflection, I should have represented our partners and core team values better than I did by letting my frustrations follow me outside of the car. You live and learn, and I intend to learn from this. Following NASCAR's announcement of his suspension, 23XI shared the following statement. 23XI is aligned with NASCAR on the 1-race suspension issued to Bubba, and we understand the need for the series to take a clear stand on the incidents that took place at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Bubba's actions are not in keeping with the values of our team and partners. We have spoken to Bubba and expressed our disapproval of how he handled the situation. Bubba has made impressive strides this season, and this experience is an opportunity for him to further learn and grow as a competitor in NASCAR. As a result of the penalty, John Hunter Nemechek will drive the number 45 Toyota this weekend at Homestead, Miami Speedway. Now, I'm just here by myself, but I will tell you that me and Jarrett have spoken about this quite a bit. And we both agree that the one race suspension was not enough. And we believe that NASCAR should have suspended him for the remainder of the season. We also both agree that NASCAR has not really been consistent on their rulings. And, comparing this incident to other incidences, their rulings don't quite make sense to us. In that, while tires falling off cars are serious safety violations, a crew chief being suspended for 4 races when they're not the ones touching the car, but a driver who right hooks another driver receives a 1 race suspension in comparison, doesn't make much sense to us. We can also compare it to Matt Kenseth, who wrecked Joey Logano at Martinsville a couple years ago, following their beef that they had. He was suspended for 2 races. Now, I know people have also argued that Matt had gone to the garage. He came back out onto the track, waited for Logano, and the rest is history. And while I could understand that argument, I don't think we should be looking at the antics here per se, because at the end of the day, 2 drivers wrecked 2 other drivers intentionally, and you have one driver who received a 2 race suspension and another driver who received a 1 race suspension. Now, we've talked about the safety of these cars since the very beginning, and we're not the only ones. We also found it, I'll speak for me now. I find it frustrating that I believe drivers are on the same page as far as the safety of these cars, and for a driver to right hook somebody, which is something that nobody should be doing at any level of racing, but to do that in a car that's not safe for these drivers is concerning. I understand frustration happens in racing, but to completely throw out the concern of safety for other drivers to make a statement is just wrong. And it takes me back to the truck race at Fly Flags, and just how dangerous doing that is. And, that driver could have easily lost his life. Thankfully he didn't. Kyle Larson could have easily been severely injured or killed himself. And Joey Logano even made that point in an interview recently that Bubba could have seriously injured Kyle Larson or costed him his life. And so I think it's frustrating that NASCAR kind of made this decision and is standing by it. It makes me think that, while the concern, they might take the safety concern seriously, the worst case scenario is you're suspended for a race for right hooking somebody. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me. And no monetary fines either. It's just a 1 race suspension. Baffling. Yeah, I don't think I have any other comments on that. I think it's just upsetting that he just got a 1 race suspension. I certainly think that he should have been suspended the remainder of the year. Like I said, Jared agrees with me on that. Everyone I've talked to agrees with me on that. We are all on the same page regarding that incident, and I wish NASCAR had made that decision to suspend him for the remainder of the season. Some questions that I was going to pose to Jarrett and discuss was whether or not he thought NASCAR's penalty was appropriate for his actions. Like I said, we've already talked about it. We don't think so. Do we think that NASCAR's stance on this decision demonstrates their concern for driver safety? Again, they could be saying one thing and doing something completely different. I don't think that this decision demonstrates their concern for driver safety at all, because if it did, they would have suspended him longer. And then the last question was going to be, do we think this decision is consistent with past decisions? Again, we've already discussed that. Clearly not. Again, Matt Kenseth was suspended 2 races. And then we kind of compared it to, crew chiefs being suspended for 4 races and fined money for tires coming off the car when, they're not the ones directly involved with that whole process. So it's just really weird on NASCAR's part. But anyway, off of NASCAR, we are going to move into our Winchester 400 weekend post-race information. So to kick things off, your top 10 in the VOR series was Brandon Barkus, followed by Tom Gosser Jr., Jason Clevenger, Justin Brown, Ron Saggers, Trent Gosser, Josh Richardson, Kyle Stark, Nicholas Meade, and Kyle Frame. Your top 10 in the JEGS All-Stars Tour was William Solowich, Chase Berta, Giovanni Ruggiero, Jeff Foltz, Wes Griffith Jr., Dylan Stovall, Jonathan Martin, Jordan Miller, Ryan Fleming, and Nicholas Nagel. Your top 10 in the Sportsman Series was J.P. Crabtree, John Beach, Chris Shannon, Caston Everidge, Chad Richardson, Brandon Varney, Billy Hudson, Keegan Sobel, Caleb Brashear, and Jake Hinton. Your top 10 in the Street Stocks was Jason Atkinson, Josh Sage, Blaine Aiken, Dalton Connor, Austin Woodcocks, Andrew TP, Andrew Coates, Josh Poore, Chad Pendleton, and J.J. Schaefer. Your top 10 in the Midwest Modifieds was Cody Stickler, Terry Fisher Jr., Scotty Lamp, Aaron Taylor, Andy Booton, Sam Bigham, Josh Kempf, Logan McPherson, Russ Miller, and Tim Burkett. And your top 10 in the CRA Super Series was Stephen Nasse, Sammy Smith, William Solowich, Jake Garcia, Casey Roderick, Kyle Crump, Logan Bearden, Eddie Van Meter, Cole Butcher, and Tommy St. John. All of these divisions also crowned champions at Winchester. Starting out with the VORS Compact Touring Series, the Rookie of the Year was awarded to Carter Stark. The B4 Series champion was awarded to Bradley Winters. The Senior Champion was awarded to Yogi Metz, and the VORS Compact Touring Series champion for 2022 was Chris Jennings. The CRA Street Stock Champion was awarded to Jason Atkinson. The CRA Sportsman Championship was awarded to Caleb Brashear. The CRA All-Stars Champion was awarded to Dakota Stroop. Eddie Van Meter won the CRA Super Series Championship, and Walt Obrinsky Jr. was crowned the Midwest Modifieds Champion. To close out the show, I wanted to go over some of the big moments in this year's Winchester 400. So this is the Winchester 400 Incident Report presented by 3 Wide with DJG. At lap 10, Chandler Smith would take over the race lead from Casey Roderick. Lap 75, the competition caution would fly. Lap 83, following the restart, several drivers were caught up in a wreck out of turn 4 after it appeared that Billy Van Meter suffered a failure. This would end the day for Albert Francis Jr. and Jesse Love. Crump, Tommy St. John, Chase Berta, and Jake Finch were also involved. On lap 93, Chase Berta suffered a failure, sending him into the outside wall out of turn 4, ending his day. On lap 114, Jake Garcia and Chandler Smith made contact battling for the lead out of turn 4. Smith had made hard contact with the inside wall, ending his day. Stephen Nasse also suffered a tire failure out of turn 3, resulting in his transponder falling off of the car. After Smith exited his car, he carried debris to Garcia's pit box, resulting in an altercation between teams. Smith would later try to rejoin the race, but race officials would not allow him to do so as a result of the altercation. On lap 144, Jake Finch makes hard contact with the outside wall between turns 1 and 2, ending his day. On lap 144, Casey Roderick would also begin to battle mechanical issues for the rest of the race. Stephen Nasse would gain his lap back, putting him back on the lead lap. On lap 188, Nasse would take the race lead. At this point in the race, Jake Garcia and Cole Butcher had also led laps. On lap 226, the competition caution would fly again. On lap 266, Michael Hine makes contact with Stephen Nasse while battling for second. He would make hard contact with the outside wall in turn 3, ending his day. Lap 310, while in second, Cole Butcher lost his left rear tire out of 4. He would make hard contact with the outside wall, ending his day. Following this incident, 8 drivers would remain in the race. Stephen Nasse would go on to grab his second Winchester 400 win. Again, your top 10 was Stephen Nasse, Sammy Smith, William Solowich, Jake Garcia, Casey Roderick, Kyle Crump, Logan Bearden, Eddie Van Meter, Cole Butcher, and Tommy St. John. thank you guys so much for taking some time to listen to episode 30 of 3 Wide with DJG. Also want to thank the drivers who joined us leading up to Winchester 400 weekend to speak with us. So thank you to Kyle Frame, Bradley Winters, Kyle Crump, Tommy St. John, and Austin Coe for joining us. Thank you guys for listening and supporting. We certainly hope that you enjoyed that little series. I think it was a success. So guarantee you that we'll have more projects like that to follow for some of the bigger events for the remainder of this year and next year. Next week, we will have our All-American 400 pre-race show where we will go over the entry list available. We'll make our picks, etc. Also want to announce that we have jumped on board with Speedway Car Cams again. They will be making the trip to Gateway Dirt Nationals. So we are sponsoring an in-car camera. So thanks to them for allowing us to do that again. And with that being said, we will see you next week. Thank you all so much.